Paris had a chance to pop on yesterday's Xbox Factor podcast. And while he was there, he made mention specifically about Gamescom. And that's where I want to go and talk to next, because there were some games from this showcase. There were 30 of them, 17 first party. There were some that were absent. Clockwork Revolution being one of them. That game looked done last year when we saw it. 33 Immortals, we know, is in beta. That's another possible release at any moment. What's the side-scrolling beat 'em up one?
Towerborn.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Towerborn was absent. Contraband was also absent. So
Everwild. There's so many more, right? And I talking to them, they did say, like, yeah, they had to cut stuff. They just didn't have enough time.
They according to people at Xbox, no names specifically, they had to remove some things because they literally had too many games to show, and they had to represent their partners and some of the indies that were in there. So Paris said yesterday that look to Gamescom to be something big. And Gamescom is a big show. It is a monster-sized show. It's probably one of the biggest attended shows every year. And there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people attending this thing. And Xbox apparently is going to be there in a big way. Luke, I want to go right to you with this.
Sure.
The show was the show. 30 games, 17 first party. One of the, if not the biggest game show in the history. It's certainly, at least in my personal opinion, the best Xbox show in the history of the brand. That's just me. But depending on who you speak to, get out there on the socials, people are calling this one of the best or not top 3 shows of all time. Gamescom is around the corner. They have another opportunity to show their wares. I would imagine that we're going to get a chance to see some more of the games that they showed here, plus some things that were left out, like the ones I just talked to. For you, how big do you think Gamescom is going to be for Xbox?
I think Gamescom is going to not quite match the size that we just saw here, because what they did was kind of give us benchmark updates on some of their biggest properties. Xbox has had a unique problem in the last year and a half, 2 years, and that we know a lot of their projects. We know a lot of their projects. And with this showcase that we just had, we got answers. Where is Perfect Dark? What's going on with Doom? What's going on with the Gears franchise? We got to see answers to a lot of those questions. State of Decay, yep, good call. State of Decay getting a wonderful showing there. Gamescom is where you saw what we didn't see at this showcase, and that's release dates, right?
Yeah.
They'll show us release dates for Avowed. Maybe we kind of already know that thanks to Obsidian's.
We know that one,
oops. Yeah. But like, you get your official announcement. You get your official announcement for indie. We see a lot of these announcements, and then maybe you get 1 or 2 updates on things that we haven't seen just yet. Maybe you do see a Contraband. Maybe you do see what's going on with Clockwork Revolution. But they don't want to over show everything in this 2-window time. You want to have a nice trickle cadence that Matt Booty and Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer have talked about. One big pillar quarter, and you want to get people excited for the next thing as well. And so I think that's going to be Gamescom is where you get maybe one thing new, you get some deeper dives on some stuff, but really you get your release date timing. They are, I think, purposely diminishing Avowed because they want scope and expectation to be appropriate, similar to how they did Hellblade, which I still think they underserved. But they've kind of pushed Avowed audience into the official Xbox podcast, letting people see that third person is there. Why that wasn't at the showcase surprised me. Seeing it in the official Xbox podcast surprised me as well. So, like, I think they're trying to temper expectations on some of their projects, the Outer Worlds Avowed sized experiences, the Hellblade 2 sized experiences, and then your bigger stuff, will be on display at your Gamescom, and then they also have to have something for Game Awards. So that's why I think they need to now adjust their cadence, and they've got the IP, the studio size to do that, because they have the umbrella of Bethesda, Activision, and Xbox Game Studios. I think it's interesting, Boom. Not 2 months ago, I should say, within the last 2 months, we were really concerned, is Ninja Theory closing after Tango Gameworks after this, and now the vibe is completely switched. Time will tell if they can keep this level of excitement. I don't think you can, because it was just this good and it was such a course correction. But if you can do 80% of what you did in this showcase as a sustained effort, then you've got a new Xbox brand recognition from here on out, and that's the exciting part.
I think you're onto something. I think consistency is going to be a key factor. I mean, look, even people who are not normally associated with the Xbox brand, for one reason or another, really had a hard time denouncing what we saw. Like, they hit so hard, Luke, that it was undeniable.
Yeah.
There's I'm sorry, there's just no doubt about it. Now, before I bring Hargeet in, who's laughing, of course, he's always laughing and smiling, which is what we love him for. I do want to catch up on super chats. Now, Simon, I know that I missed your super chat yesterday. He drops a very generous £2 super chat to say, shame on me, Boom. And it's actually shame on me. I have your super chat. I can't believe I missed it, but here it is. Simon Brandy dropped a £5 super chat yesterday, and I missed it. And I can't believe I did. He says the media are hating it that Xbox showed up big. F them. I've read articles harping on about layoffs instead of reviewing the show. Good old Metro. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, dude. I put it to you this way. The fact that we're seeing people continue to downplay this, and again, we don't name names here, right? I don't like doing it because I'm not looking to have a flame war with anyone. You're entitled to your opinion. What I have said, and what I will stand on this square, Simon, is that if you walk away with from this show, maybe not every game is for you. Maybe all 30 games are for you. But I will say this. If you as a gamer, I don't care where you game, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, PC, wherever, if you can't find 10 games from that 30, from that list of 30, that's 1/3. You can't find a third of games that you would be interested to play. You are a fraud, and you should not be playing games. Just pack up your systems, sell them on eBay, and go build sticks or something. I don't know what to tell you. Honestly, go play with Lego.
Just to point out, I've said that long term, the media will not be able to deny Xbox.
Yes, they will.
Started on Sunday. You started to see even PlayStation-centric sites saying, hell yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Right? And where's the Sony response? They don't have anything right now, right? They're starting to see the obvious cracks that we've been pointing out, right? And eventually they all will. It'll take years, but they all will have to, because this will keep happening, right? You say Gamescom. Who do you think is going to win Gamescom?
That would be Xbox, because Nintendo doesn't go and PlayStation is not going to be there. So yes, it's another win.
And who's going to win the Game Awards? It's going to be Xbox. And you'll see this pattern continuously. The enthusiasm generated by one company will be Microsoft. Xbox will be doing this their next showcase is going to be just as crazy, because they have that many games. They have games. So what are they going to do? They're eventually going to have to just pay respects. If they buy another big thing, forget it. How can they say no? Right? How can they say no? That this is going to continue that trend. But you're seeing it now. You're seeing it now. People on the other side of the aisle have started to say, yeah, that was just too good. I can't front. That was awesome. So, and that's starting to flip.
Well, listen, I'm going to come back to you in a second, because I do want to get your thoughts on Gamescom, but I want to continue with the super chats. And Simon drops an additional £2 super chat and says, what do you think of Sean Layden being a toxic pony? I saw the commentary from Sean. I like Sean a lot. I thought it was incredibly out of character. Like him liking someone's
see it. What did he
toxic
say?
tweet. I'd have to go and find it. I put it to this way.
I'll go
I was
look.
disappointed. I was disappointed in what he said and how he responded to it. He's supposed to be above board. He really is. He doesn't need to
And right now he shouldn't be doing that. He's at 10 cent, right?
he's at 10 cent. Yeah, that's where he's
And
making
so
quite a bit of money
Xbox is
over
one of their
there.
major customers.
It
Correct?
is. Yeah,
That
they
is not a
absolutely
good
are.
play. You don't want to
No.
go against your major customers. That's a
No,
bad idea.
it was. I hope he pulls down the tweet because it's that kind of rhetoric should be beneath him. And look, it's a bit shallow in my opinion for someone of his stature and his position in gaming currently to make those kind of comments. I just think it's low in my opinion. Smokey, who's been a channel member for 39 months, brother, thank you so much for the ridiculous generosity. He said the ad I was forced to watch before this show was for Indiana Jones. Have you discussed its predicted launch date? Not as of yet. I'll catch up with on the super chat. Okay, so 2 more super chats. Elemental PO drops a very generous $10 super chat, and he goes on to say, I had the privilege to attend the event called E for All in 2007. It was the first public gaming expo at the same venue at E3. Oh, dude, that's freaking awesome. The closest I'd ever been to E3, I played Metal Gear Solid 4. That's awesome. Hargeet, let's get your hot take on what you expected Gamescom.
Okay, yeah. So look, like Luke was saying, we're gonna have some updates on release dates. Hopefully, right? Maybe they push that out even further. We'll see, but maybe there'll be a release date or two in there. But look, Contraband, I think, is ready to show. So, and I think they're from there, right, from Europe. So it might be something to go at Gamescom. We were looking at other games to potentially be shown from the Xbox side. But maybe they don't. I don't know about like Gears collection we keep talking about. I'm not sure it exists or not.
Well, I want to throw a caveat into that because I went back and listen, I heard what I heard and I stand by it. But what's interesting is the same team that brought one of the most disliked Gears is People Can Fly, right? They were just hired. Now, I don't know how it was just announced a couple of months ago. They are currently working on a legacy IP, right? What that IP is a secret. Is that legacy IP the Gears collection? Because if I were to be so bold, you put out this game, obviously E-Day is going to be it's a prequel. If you're going to lead into a Gears collection, that could potentially come either before or after. Because remember, you're going to want your fan base to be equated with what Gears is. Gears hasn't had a title since 2019, and it was Gears 5. I loved it. A lot of people didn't.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something that happens sooner, before, or even after.
If it does, it'll be on PlayStation.
Yeah, it probably will be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Maybe. We'll see. But so the other things that we didn't get were like the Call of Duty drop into Game Pass, right? We had
it's a great point, dude. That
could happen there. We really could get just an update of, hey, Activision games that are now going to go into Game Pass. That could be dropped in there.
Yep.
There were other potential rumors that were floating around about a Fallout 3 remake, an Oblivion remake. If any of that's going to happen, those could be announcements that are there, right? Just bringing in some sort of older games into the current gens, right? So we can see if those could happen. I don't know if they would do something like Everwild. I think that might be a good next showcase thing.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll be next year. But there are other potential games like that they could, like Towerborn, right? Replaced.
Yes.
There's those games that they partner with that we haven't really heard much about in this current this showcase. They were also talking about other games they have with Japanese publishers and developers, right? So maybe they have something going on there. The IO folks, they're working on, was it Project Dragon? I don't know if that's still
right. Yeah.
Marketed or exclusive or whatever with Xbox. That could show up. They were also working on a Bond game, right? And that didn't show up on Keeley's stage. Are they going to market that with Xbox? Right? They seem to have a partnership there, so maybe we see that, right? We see that marketing of the next Bond game, right? So there's things like that, right? And why I think that game, IO is over there, but also Bond is a very European centric thing, right? It's
it
UK,
is.
so it potentially fits in that arena, right? So I'm just thinking of things like that might be out there, but regardless, there's going to probably be enough stuff to say that, yeah, that was probably the biggest announcements thing that we had at Gamescom, just because of the sheer amount of stuff they have, right? So even just release dates, new trailers for games that we know are coming, and then, having a couple of new announcements, maybe some of these remakes, partner games, things like that. They could easily be bringing that to Gamescom. So that'd be my guess. I haven't delved too much into what I think might be there, but I think that's probably realistic. It's not going to be as big as this, obviously, but then again, Gamescom generally isn't that, isn't as big as the E3 timeframe stuff, right? And so, yeah, I think that's what they're gonna do. And they had 4 games, I think, in the Game Awards. So they're probably gonna have something like that, some big killer announcements. We'll see at this Game Awards as well. This time, Summer Games Fest, I don't know if that's gonna keep going the way it is, but it does not seem to get the big announcements anymore. But we'll see. But as far as Gamescom, I think that it's going to be something like that, right? There'll be a mix of smaller things. It's not going to be huge, but there's going to be some good announcements.
Let me tell you, I saw Keely's body language both at Summer Game Fest and after.
We saw it.
He's working real hard to bring something big to Gamescom and to Game Awards, because he's well aware Summer Game Fest disappointed,
because he has his other thing at Gamescom as well, right? What do you call it? I can't remember the name.
Gamescom.
But Gamescom, so it's just Gamescom Live. Is that
it's opening night live? Yeah.
Oh, no, that's right. Oh, no, that's right. Right. Oh, no.
So he's gonna work on something, so maybe it is that Bond game, but it was very evident.
Yep.
When the lights came down and he was walking off stage for a trailer to go, and then I ran into him probably 3-4 times at Play Days, which was the media event, and my boy was defeated and he was not happy, and it was I'm not railing on him, but his show disappointed, and it doesn't usually, right? Not on this level. So this was a new territory for him to put up his own poll, get a D in his own rating, and then Xbox get an A. That's new territory for Jeff Keighley. So expect him to try to bring something big to the stage. And don't we want that? We want that. Let's go. Let them go. If he's pushing back, the Xbox is going to push back harder, and they've got the arsenal to do it. This is only good for us.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I do think that they're going to be pushing each other, but I think Xbox is going to be the big man in the room, because they literally have they literally have so many games. It is just, it's ridiculous. Ham, I want to bring you in for this part of the conversation. Gamescom is happening. It is a big event. Let's not make a mistake here. It is one of the biggest shows of the year. Now, is it going to be as big as what Xbox just put out? I don't think so. But based on Paris Lily and what I heard behind the scenes, I think Xbox fans can look towards Gamescom for big Xbox announcements that were shelved in place of what we got for this past weekend. And again, the running conversation is they literally had so many games that they could not put them all on one stage. They put 17 first-party games in one show. That has never happened before. That is probably the most first-party games on any show ever. Well, Gamescom is upon us. We mentioned a bunch of games that were not here that looked like they could have easily been on the showcase. In Exile's game definitely being one of those. Let's talk about it. Are you expecting Xbox to show up big in Germany?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like Xbox, even though we've gave them plenty of smoke in the last 10 years, it feels like, when it comes to their messaging, and just really, getting out there and advertising properly. I still don't think Xbox is quite there advertising properly, absolutely yet. But I think that they kind of found some comfort within showcases, in particularly. I still think they could get on the street and be better, right? They could be better in big cities, and I personally think that it's insane that they're not at like every airport trying to market it, personally. But but they found their shtick with showcases for sure, and I think they know how many eyes look at these like Gamescoms, and they're starting to really take serious the Game Awards and even Tokyo Game Show even more. That I think they do have a lot of other stuff that they could show at this next presentation. I mean, as you guys said, they showed a ton of first party games, and people like Paris were out there like, yo, they still got a lot of other stuff to show, including myself, where I'm just like, yo, where's what is it, 100 Immortals or 33 Immortals or
33 Immortals? Yeah, that's one of them.
33 Immortals. There's there's Towerborn as well. There's just, I mean, I could keep going. I could look it up, whatever. There's a lot of other things going on for Xbox. I'm personally still waiting for Brass Lion to say, hey, here's Wu-Tang. So like, there's a ton of stuff that I'm looking forward to.